Cinema. Welcome back to War with Cinema. I'm your host, Greg, your local metalhead, and with me is...
Par the Collector. What's up, everybody?
And you gave me Money Talks.
This is like, I don't remember who the actor was we were talking about the other day, but they had like their year, like where just like everything they did in that year was just a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hardy had one.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey had one in like 94, 95, whatever it was. He did Batman, Liar Liar, and Dumb and Dumber shit.
Yeah.
Or no, it was The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and then Batman.
Yeah, they all came out in the same year. It was crazy. Like
every now and then you'll get an actor that hits the trifecta, and that's what Chris Tucker was in 97. He did Rush Hour, he did Jackie Brown, and he did Money Talks.
Yeah.
3 best movies he's ever done. Like, in my opinion.
Dead
Presidents is hard too, but
this came out in 1997, and I think I saw this when I was younger, but I don't remember it, but I do remember like parts of it. So I feel like this is the first time I've seen it because I'm just remembering it.
It had been a while for me too. And I remember like, Chris Tucker obviously carries this fucking movie on his back, but I've really underestimated how bad Charlie Sheen is in it. Like, his fucking dialogue is hard to watch now.
Kendra and I were talking about this. She looks at me in the middle of this movie. She's like,
was this his first fucking movie?
She's like, I thought Charlie Sheen was good. I was like, this is not his best work. Like,
I mean, I was saying,
and then she asked me like, what are some of his good movies? And I was hard pressed, like Platoon.
Yeah, nothing that he's the main star.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to think about.
Right. Hot Shots. You don't like Hot Shots?
I mean, it's okay for a spoof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Men at Work's okay, but I mean, he's got Emilio there to help him out.
I think one of his best is Wall Street. I love Wall Street.
That's probably my favorite too.
Right. But like outside of that, he hasn't done a whole, I mean, 2.5 Men, but that's whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like he's not that type of, like, I know he starred in many movies, but like, I just feel like he's not good enough to carry anything.
No, and this movie really shows it.
Right.
Like,
he had a couple good zingers, like 1 or 2. Like, I love when him and they're arguing at the car show. Like, we'll get into it when we get into it, but he's got a couple good lines and shit. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, damn, man, like, what happened to you, bro?
And it wasn't even him. It was like Chris Tucker was like struggling to find that chemistry between them. So he was just going full 11 with
it. Almost felt like I was just like, damn, how much did they pay? Did they have to pay Charlie Sheen extra? Because Chris Tucker shits on him.
Yeah.
Like verbally, like a verbal assault. He hits him with so many one-liners. I mean, they're fucking hilarious. But you had to wonder, like, if it was personal at that point. Like, like, I didn't want you. They just said, fuck it. We're going to give you a white boy. And I got stuck with you. Like,
well, we were talking before the episode that I just watched that movie Angel Heart. And it has Robert De Niro and fucking Mickey Rourke. That movie is the reason they hate each other.
That makes sense.
So it's probably the same thing here.
I don't know if they hate each other. I mean, that's the weird thing. Like,
I mean, it wouldn't be like a shocking thing to find out afterwards. Like, oh, they really don't fuck with each other. It's like, yeah, you can tell.
Oh, yeah. Like, they definitely weren't hanging out on set and shit. Like, hey, let's get a beer, man. Like, but it's just, I think it's so funny because it's him in his heyday. Like, he's at the height of his powers in this one.
Like I said, this is Chris Tucker turned up to 11. And there's not a lot of fun facts, but the one fun fact that I did find interesting is the director, the original director of this movie, had creative control differences with Chris Tucker, and so he quit, and they just gave Chris Tucker full reins on the movie to let him do whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
It says on there, big as fuck, executive producer Chris Tucker.
Yeah. But it's like he turned on the camera and just kind of let himself go, and didn't know when to stop. So he there's so much in here.
Yeah. I just like, there's little ones I've picked up on last night that I hadn't heard before. Like when he calls the bomb threaded and they're in the phone booth and he's like 5, 4, he counts down and all the people are running out and there's like a chicken right before you see the bad guy. Damn, she got a fat ass. I've never heard that before.
So this movie is Chris Tucker is is he? He's a hustler. Yeah. Okay.
He's hustling at a car wash that he works at also. And he gets, I'm guessing he like moves fences, stolen shit, and he's a ticket scalper and he owes the mob $25,000. because of Vig. The greatest, I just love the opening. First of all, I'm a huge Barry White fan. And it opens with him in this badass Benz, just singing the shit out of the song. And it's like, oh man, this guy's killing it in life. Like, I'd be that happy too. And then he pulls into the car wash. And then the dude's sitting like at a shoe shine spot. And he's like, you said you were going to wash it, not take it for a fucking joyride.
I've been looking for you.
Thank God I found you, man. He gives him a hug. Now get the fuck out of here.
But then Charlie Sheen comes up. He's a
I just like, I forgot that he's like just a fucking snitch.
Yeah.
In this movie, like, you caused everything. Like, you were the reason this guy's life went to shit.
Just because you could get it, so you could get a story.
It really is like, that was another thing when I was watching it last night. I was just like, the premise of this movie is so fucking unbelievable.
100%. And this came out in 1997, and this is like the tail end of that like buddy cop,
right? Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s thing that everyone was cashing in on, and this did not work for me. I mean, Chris Tucker's funny. I mean, he's always funny. We've been talking about him for the past like 5 episodes, so.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, he does well enough, and he has so many like memorable things that he says in this movie that like that's why this movie's so good. But yeah, it's not the best, you know. It could have been. Like, I sat there last night and I thought to myself, like, I tried to name like 5 guys that would have been better, that would have made this movie better if he would have actually had anybody to throw shit off on.
Yeah, let's take out Charlie Sheen. Who do we replace? Because
like, I know that he wasn't a big time actor in 95, but I feel like Mark Wahlberg would have killed that shit. Yeah. Not as a fucking reporter, but they could have found something cooler for him to be.
Yeah, because Mark Wahlberg won't match his energy, but he'll match his like comebacks. The banter.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's a badass on his own. So it's like, you know, it would have been good. It would have been kind of like him and Craig from Friday, because Craig is the fucking bigger, you know, like, I'll fuck you up guy, and Smokey's the loose, funny, you know, guy. Mm-hmm. And I think it would have worked just as well for that. Fucking anybody, literally, I feel like.
I can't think of his fucking name. It's on the tip of my tongue. 48 Hours.
Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte and Chris Tucker, like, that would have been.
I think they wouldn't have done that because of 48 Hours.
Yeah. I mean, you're just replacing Eddie Murphy at that point.
And as much as I love Chris Tucker, he is not Eddie Murphy. Yeah. So, you know.
They're 2 different comedy styles, but.
95, man. I would say Jim Carrey, but then it kind of clashes because they're both so fucking
they're so
slapsticky.
Too silly, yeah. You need like that serious.
You gotta have a straight man.
Straight man, yeah.
I'm sure Bruce Willis would have done it if Chris Tucker hadn't had the majority of the money. Mm-hmm. If they could have afforded Bruce, he would have stepped in and made.
I mean, they did it on Fifth Element. They were great.
Well, I'm saying though, that's crazy, man. Well, they came out the same year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was probably, hey, Bruce, I got a movie I'm making on my own. You want to come be in it? Get the fuck out of here.
He was sick of them by that time.
I just made $20 million off Fifth Element. I ain't doing shit for the rest of this year, buddy.
We keep talking about when this came out. So I ended up buying this because I'm like, it's a Chris Tucker movie. He doesn't have a whole lot of them. So I'm going to buy it because I think it'll...
You can finish your whole Chris Tucker library in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I had to look this up because I didn't know for sure, but they started making DVDs in 1997.
Did they?
Yeah. This feels like the first DVD ever made. It has the worst play menu that I've ever seen.
It's got the same one, dude. I got one better. I'll do you one better, bro. The one I watched it on is my Rush Hour 3 and that on 2 DVDs. It's got the first 2 Rush Hours and then Rush Hour 3 and Money Talks on the other one. And that's
you know why they do that?
To save money?
No, to make money. So Money Talks can make more money and get more like money
sales.
Towards it. Yeah, sales.
That's smart.
Mm-hmm. So people are buying it for Rush Hour, but getting a kickback to Money Talks.
I loved the first 2 Rush Hours. The third one was kind of...
Yeah, it was very like whatever. I mean, I love the first one to death.
The first one is by far the best. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's so great about Chris Tucker as an actor is, yes, he's hilarious and yes, he's like keeping you entertained, but he does work well with some of the most like unlikely of people. Mm-hmm. Think of it like him and Bruce Willis. And
you wouldn't think him and Jackie Chan. You would not think in a million years that would work.
The language barrier, everything, but they find a way to make it fantastic. And they're still good friends to this day. Like, Chris Tucker makes the joke during his stand-up all the time. He's like, Jackie called me right now and said we're doing Rush Hour 4. I'm fucking there. Like, I'm on a plane to China right now. But and even in Silver Linings Playbook, he's great in that. He doesn't have a big part, but he's great in it.
I need to rewatch that. I've only seen it the one time, but
and Bradley Cooper can act too. So I mean, that's just another one that like, you know, I feel like he's done it. And if you ever, I know you probably haven't seen Dead Presidents, but
no, I haven't.
That is a fantastic movie.
Is it?
Yeah, he's good in that too. But there's not one movie that I can think of that he's been in any. Well, I mean, Jackie Brown, obviously he's not in it very long, but any movie that he's in, the majority of it, like I haven't seen that has been bad. Like it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I guess you're not wrong.
It is kind of a. I mean, I hate to knock the guy because he stopped, you know, doing movies really because, you know, like you said, he got spiritual.
Well, this is his like official last movie for like all the cussing and shit because he found religion.
Right. And he just made so much money so fast that like he didn't need it like that. And I'm sure that, you know, you work hard your whole life to get to that point, and he probably was like, man, shit, the movies will be there.
Yeah.
You know, I can come back whenever I want. I'm Chris Tucker. I'm like one of the funniest motherfuckers on earth. And I mean, he still, when he does stand up, he still packs out a house. I mean, the guy's very talented. It's just like, it's kind of like a Rick Moranis type situation. Like you're happy that he did what he needed to do for himself, but you know, as a fan, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, you feel like you're missing out. Like you could be doing so much more now.
So to break into this crazy ass plot of a movie, guys, and like I said, this movie came out a while ago, so though I'm not worried anything about spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie, obviously go watch it because that's what we do here. We review movies. But
yeah, they really stretched, like you said, the believability of this movie because this doesn't make sense at all. But
it's almost like it makes it funnier unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like there's just shit that he's doing that is so crazy, and you would think that he's like gonna do the action movie thing and just be like a fucking badass, but he squeals like a fucking girl. It's the greatest thing. I loved him so much in this movie, but like.
So basically, Charlie Sheen is a reporter. He snitches on him. The cops take him away. He gets arrested.
Even when he's being arrested, like he's like, "Let me out and give you $5. You offer me $5. Hey man, help a brother out, man." And he's like, "Oh, that's how it is. Fuck you. I'm gonna beat your ass when I get out of here."
I love the jail cell scene.
Oh my god, him and Faison Love, dude. They should have done more together.
There's a fun fact about this because
it's a big perv. I'm a big worm.
Right. The jail scene with Faison Love listening to Charlie Tucker explain his arrest was not originally scripted. Love visited Chris Tucker on set during filming the scene. The director expresses uncertainty of the writing scene, which had another man chasing Chris Tucker around the cell. The director proposed that Love and Tucker do the scene. The two came up with the dialogue and movements. Before filming, it took 89 takes to finalize the scene due to uncontrollable laughter from the actors and director.
Oh yeah, because like they are good friends, you know?
It was so funny.
Dude, that's funny though that he's talking about being arrested was completely improvised because that's the best part of the scene. I had my finest hoes in the car with me, and the cops were like, "Get out of the car, get out of the car." I was like, "I ain't getting out of the car," and the girls were like, "Franklin." And Faison Love's just like, for real, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, taking his clothes off,
his buttons, his pants, and shit. Quit playing, man. He just keeps telling him the story. He's trying to like grab him. He's like, "They put their hands on you." Great scene.
Yeah. I actually love that little scene.
And the scene after it is like even better. Well, no, the scene after that is when they fire. Charlie Sheen gets fired because his editor looks at the video of him framing Chris Tucker and he's like, "This is dog shit. Why would you even bring this to me?" And so he fires him, and then it goes back to him being transported to the big jail, you know, not the holding area or whatever. And he gets fucking cuffed up with his fridge. And I love it. He's like, he walking down and he's like, says something. He's like, "What you in here for?" Some shit like that. And he's like, "What's on?" He's saying all this French shit. And he's like, "Well, bitch, on fat you, motherfucker." It's just like little things, man. Like when they're walking out to the bus and he like talks to he's like walks past the cop. He's like, "Hey, let me borrow your gun."
I have to say, like, as much as I love Chris Tucker, this was coming so close to being almost too much Chris Tucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every shot was just him like turning it up, and I was like, I'm almost getting sick of Chris Tucker. Like he's so charismatic that I'm forgiving it, but he is riding that line.
Well, I think it's good too because it's not a long movie. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you bounce through it, I feel like. But like I love it because I think like I said, I think he makes it so good.
Yeah, it's just a Chris Tucker skit show.
Really is. Like it's like they just turned, like you said, they just turned the camera on and he just did his thing.
Yeah.
And if I had to say anything, like, there are certain points where it's kind of like, all right, like he ran too long on that joke or whatever.
Right.
But I feel like the people that were helping him make it were like, you got to be Smokey times 10. Like they like, because he uses so much of his catchphrases, like, you know, well, soon to be catchphrases.
You're right. This is Smokey, basically.
And it's just like, damn, you know, all that. Like he does all that, and like the head bob and the dancing and shit. Like, I mean, it's all Chris Tucker staples now.
Right.
But it just was the first time we all saw it all together like that, like right then, you know. And but I can see how you'd feel that way. But
yeah.
I just think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, there are
so
parts
hard.
on it, obviously, that made me laugh.
I had Amelia, my daughter, with me in the living. She wasn't watching the movie with me because it's rated R or whatever, but like she was watching her tablet, and I was laughing so hard that she was like, "Daddy, you like this movie a lot?" Huh? I was like, "I love this movie." I was just like wiping tears from my eyes. So they get on the bus, and he's like, "Yo, man, we're going to the back." And this French dude like suplexes him into the fucking first seat, and he's like, "Who the fuck you think you doing?" He's like, "You better take your ass to the back." And he's like, "You fucking stay here." And he's like, all right, wait till we get off the bus. Wait till we get off the bus. And he's like, "Where you from? That French part of Compton?" And he's like, "You want to play rough?" Yeah, he even does the Tony Montana thing.
Yeah, he
dude.
does.
I care for fun.
So yeah, the Frenchman is actually the head of
And
the French cartel.
Jewel thieves, I guess. International jewels,
Yeah.
thieves / smugglers. And
all his buddies.
you know the one thing I noticed this time around? That fucking explosive blew that bus in half, like destroyed it. Nobody would have lived through that.
No, there's no way.
Like the fire in the front of the bus was at the drive, like at the wheel. And I'm like, yeah, bro, everybody's dead on that.
Yeah, I love how he hid behind the seat like it was gonna protect him. It was awful CGI, by the way.
Oh my
when
God.
they were sitting in that fire, I was like, that's awful.
It was still funny though to listen to him scream, like do it, because he does. That's like another great thing in this movie. Like his screams are so on point.
Yeah, it's the Chris Tucker.
I can't
scream.
even hit.
Nobody
that
can get that
octave,
high. Yeah.
You know? And I love it because they shoot all the guys, the prisoners that are on fire, and the couple cops that somehow aren't charbroiled, and they're running, and he falls down. He just fucking falls. Like it looks so badass. They just got out of this blown up bus, and he just fucking falls. They hop in a helicopter, and this is where we start getting to crazy, like unexpected, like this would never happen.
Right.
I mean, they're flying clearly enough over that, like if he jumps out of this fucking helicopter, you're goo, you're liquid.
Yeah, even if you're falling into water.
Yeah, it's
that
glass at that height.
Yeah.
But it's still a great little scene though, because like the French guys are like, because of course he was talking all that shit on the bus about how he's gonna fuck him up, and then you know all that happened. So those two French dudes are hugging his shit because they're like cool. I think they're brothers or whatever, and he's like all hugging him and shit too. We made it, man. We made it.
And then they start talking about money, and he's talking about getting cut in.
Oh, because he hears $7 million. He hears $15 million in a Jaguar, and he's like $15 million. He's like, fuck me, you gotta cut a brother in on that shit, man. He's like, look, this is how we'll do it. 7 for you, 7 for me, and then he turns to the guy that is the master, like the boss of the fucking thing, and he's like, you get whatever's left because you've been having fucked up since I met you. He takes the axe, slams it down, breaks the cuffs apart.
I thought he would just cut his hand off.
I thought it was like, I mean, I don't know, because
movie, but
right, yeah. I don't know how any axe is that sharp to just get through metal like in one fucking chop. Like,
it's not. Again, movie.
Yeah. And they're getting ready to kill him. So, of course, he jumps out of the helicopter from 3,000 feet in the air and lands on the water, perfectly safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then they shoot the water. And I've saw on Mythbusters, of course, that wouldn't happen. Like a bullet can only.
You
go,
know what's
like,
funny is
far.
I've always wondered that. I'm like, I feel like the bullet would get to them, and then I saw Mythbuster, so I have to like let that go, even though a part of me like
they shot a 50 cal into a fucking pool, dude, and it didn't do shit.
Right?
Like,
yeah, it gets like to a foot and then it dies.
Yeah, I mean it's just inertia's gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Bruce Lee was such a bad motherfucker, dude. Because be water. You know what I mean? Be fluid, because water is everywhere. Water can do anything. Like you can't box water, bro.
Right.
But yeah, so they shoot into the ocean. It's cold as a motherfucker. Gets out. He goes to a restaurant, which
right.
He's eating like a cereal or oatmeal or something.
It does look like he's eating cereal. And I love that the cops come in, and then it shows on the TV that 2 inmates escaped, and they show his picture, and he's like, I ain't me.
He looks back, and they're both looking right at his ass. He runs, and he's like, I'm going to come out, but don't shoot me. Which, that's the fucked up part, too, is like, I feel like that's exactly how the cops would have done.
That's the thing, is they shot the fuck up in that store.
Well, they killed, they didn't kill anybody, but they shot the shit out of them.
They ruined that store with their bullets, just trying to kill this guy.
It also looked like it was kind of like a half restaurant, half gas station.
Yeah.
Which I was like, damn, man, California is inventive, man. But, so he has a really cool little chase scene, even though, like, and I just noticed it the last night when I watched it, but like those have got to be the 2 dumbest fucking cops ever.
Why?
First of all, they don't call for backup. 2, they empty fucking clips in a crowded restaurant full of people. They would never do that.
Yeah.
They would try to get the guy on the ground and yada, yada, yada. But then, dude, all he does is hang on to the back of a city bus, bro.
Yeah, and they walk right by
and there's
it.
Tons of people in cars. You're going to tell me that they see 2 cops chasing somebody and they're not going to be like, beep, beep. Fuck it, right there, bro. Turn around.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, they're really gonna let him go by. Yep,
but it still saves it, because when it pans right before the scene ends, it shows Chris Tucker, and he's literally doing this shit right here, like he's making himself more invisible. Like it's fucking. I died laughing, bro. Like something about this movie. I think it's because I saw it when it first came out. Like I was cleaning the north side back.
Probably then. Because I probably saw it when I was a kid. I remember certain bits and pieces, but it is like the first time watching it, and it's like, this is such 90s cheese. Like,
the crazy thing is like I saw this before I saw Friday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think the only thing I had seen him in other than this was Fifth Element and Dead Presidents. And don't ask me how I saw him in Dead Presidents, but like, because I think my dad liked that movie or something.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, so it cuts back to him calling Charlie Sheen, and he's like, come down here and help me out. So Charlie Sheen gets a gun, goes down to the harbor where he's at. You know what's crazy is he fell out of the helicopter right there, and then he fucking went to that place, and they came right back there.
Yeah. That doesn't make much sense.
Well, because he pushes him in the water.
Is that why? I'm gonna come back just so I can push him in the water.
Why not? You ruined my fucking life today, bro.
Yeah.
I'm wanted for murder now. And it's a good, like, he does some actual acting. He's like, motherfucker. He's like, you ruined my fucking life. I wouldn't bother nobody, hustling, minding my own fucking business. And now I'm in this shit.
Yeah.
And
so what did they get him on anyway? Just for being a hustler? Like he was just trying to get a story on some random guy?
Well, he called and he's like, hey, this guy's down here ripping people off and selling illegal stolen goods and shit. Right. Like, I think that's what they had him for, like, moving stolen merchandise or some shit like that. He hadn't even
feels like such a weak story to put on the news.
But yeah, but like that was the whole thing, is like he was so sad that like, because he even says, he's like, you're that silly ass news reporter from Channel 5. He's like, Channel 12 actually. Like, and then I love that the news channel that is reporting on them through the whole movie is Channel 5. Like that was the good news channel.
Yeah,
and like he was working for the shitty news channel. Like that made it even better. So, they talk it out, and he's like, fucking water's freezing. He's like, I know, I was in the motherfucker earlier. And he's like, look, man, let me hide you out through the weekend, and I want a full exclusive, and I'll clear your name and shit like that, which is, once again, like, bro, you're a reporter. How the fuck is that going to clear me of murder?
Yeah.
And then that's what I was going to say. When they blew the bus up, they, for some reason, linked him with the fucking French guy. Like, they were in it together.
Right.
And so all the people that got killed in the bus, they blamed on him.
Yeah, so he's a cop killer.
Mass murderer, pretty much at this point. And
he goes back to Charlie Sheen, and Charlie Sheen wants him to like change his look. Like, he wants him to shave, take the earring out.
Fucking crisp right here, man.
But the reason I bring that up is because of the fun fact that's there. Chris Tucker was wearing a styrofoam hairpiece the entire film. Yeah. So that's why he didn't change his hair.
Was he bald? Like,
I don't know. It doesn't give any information. It's just he was wearing a styrofoam hairpiece.
He looked good.
I mean, yeah. I couldn't tell.
I'm never going to be able to not know that now, like when I watch this movie. So he's taking a shower, and he's like, and a commercial for Victimo comes on. And at the time, you're like, this is so fucking random, but like, it's still hilarious. Victimone, he won our hearts with his great singing. It's like an older Italian singer. They're like making fun of like Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin, kind of like that.
Right.
I don't know, man. Maybe Victimone's a real guy.
I think there was a fun fact about that, actually. Oh, here. Paul Savino and Dan Marino, who Chris Tucker claims to be his father, actually went to the same school.
Do you hear how you just read that?
Mm.
You said Paul Sorvino and Dan Marino.
Did I say Dan Marino?
You did. You said Dan Marino. And I was just like, where the fuck did he see Dan Marino on there?
Victimone.
Victimone. Nothing like Dan Marino, but still hilarious. Anyways, so it's like one of those old commercials where it's like a Lifetime or whatever. They're trying to sell like their whole discography, and they're
Did
kind of.
anybody buy those?
I mean, my grandparents bought the shit out of them.
Did they really?
They had Willie Nelson. Like, they had a bunch of stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then when they got older, it became like all Christian music and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, old people are like, that's what that was for.
I see.
But it's like Victimone, he captured the world, and would he marry Carol Haskins or something like that? I'm thinking of the bitch from Tiger King. I forget.
Carol Baskin.
I think it's Carol Burnett, something like that. But like, he married her, and he's like Victimone. He's like, can't even say she only with you because he got money.
Yeah.
Taking all of our sisters.
Yeah, because she was a black woman.
Yeah. She only with him because he got money. That shit was too funny. So he comes out in like this fucking nice suit and shit. His hair and stuff's all done. He's shaved and looks clean. He's like, what did he say? He's like, this your ride? He's like, yeah, that's my favorite fucking suit. He's like, don't get mad because I look better than you in your own shit. Like, you fuck up the suit, we got a problem. Fuck the suit, we already got a problem. There's a little bit of cheese in that.
Yeah.
But I love that when they're in the car and he's just like, don't make me beat your ass, man, because I will beat your ass.
Oh, and then he said the thing you said last episode, like, I'd be slapping people, won't even know why I slap you.
Damn, why I do that? I didn't even want to slap him like that. They call me snap and pop because I'll snap and pop your ass in the mouth. That shit had me dying, man. So they go to his girlfriend's house.
Oh, right, because there's
she's pregnant, and he just wants to check in with her, make sure she's. Oh no, I'm sorry, we're skipping over the engagement.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're having the engagement party.
That shit's hilarious too, and You know what's funny about that is like they make it seem like Charlie Sheen and Heather Locklear are like 20, and like she's still living with her parents and shit.
Yeah.
But like they're both like almost 40 in this movie. So it's like, why are you still living at home?
Right.
Heather Locklear? Like, and he's just like, Mom, Dad, like why do you give a fuck about these people's approval? Like, I mean, I get it, they're rich as shit, but I don't know. Little things that, like I said, now that I watch.
That's what you said in the 90s. They would take these like 30-year-olds and make them be like high schoolers or early 20s. Just like didn't work.
I don't think they were even trying though.
No. They just wanted famous actors.
Yeah. Which, I mean, she don't do much in this movie, but she's okay, I guess. he's like, whatever you do, he's like, we went here, or we went to this college, you graduated this, and this fraternity. He's like, fuck that shit, I'm me. He's like, well, being you, it's going to get us both in jail or whatever. And he's like, whatever, man. He's like, whatever you do, don't say anything about my fiance's weight. She's very sensitive. Right. He's like, you got one of them big old Kentucky Fried Chicken eating, McDonald eating bitches, huh, man? And it just turns out to be
Is this where this phrase came from? Did he invent this phrase?
Kentucky Fried Chicken eating motherfucker?
No, fat. PH fat.
I mean, I would be willing to challenge somebody if they had heard it in a movie before this.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, because he walks up to her and she's like, you're fat. The reason I say that is because if it was a catchphrase before, it wouldn't be so surprising. But if it was like the first time he said it, people are like...
I think it's like making fun of the fact that that's how fucking white these people are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't remember hearing that phrase very much. I'm sure it was in a song or something, but like, it's hilarious because like, she's like, what? He's like, why did you tell me you had such a fat ass fiance? Pretty hot and tempted.
Yeah.
So he meets Paul Sorvino, and of course he's this rich Italian guy. And
Which is great. He's great in this movie. Yeah, I love him.
He's like, what's your name? And he's like, Vic Damone Jr. So you're Diane. Damn, man. I'm going to remember this lady's name.
Yeah.
Diane Carroll. That's her name, Diane Carroll. He's like, so you're Vic Damone's kid and you're Diane Carroll's kid. And he's like, yeah, that's me. He's like, how's your dad? How is everybody? He's like, oh, my dad's good. He's like, still hanging out with Frank Sinatra Jr., Sammy Davis Jr.
I envy people that can like make up lies like this just on the spot.
Yeah, but see, the thing is it's not believable, but it's just so fucking funny and like outlandish that that's why it's great.
Yeah.
And, because you could tell he clearly makes all these fucking people uncomfortable as shit. And like, they're already having a stretch having to believe that this guy went to fucking college with you. Because Charlie Sheen has a branch in his ass this whole movie.
Yes.
All I can think of is like, Charlie, you said you would never do a movie like this. And he's like, let me tell you something, man. Cocaine and hookers cost a lot of money.
Right.
And they're offering me $10 million to do this shit.
And I still phoned it in.
But, that shit, I feel like he was on fucking Spin City at this time, wasn't he?
Probably.
Because I remember when Michael J. Fox couldn't do it no more, they switched him out for Charlie Sheen.
That wasn't this. That was later, wasn't it?
Well, Michael J. Fox was on the show like when it first came out. So I don't know how many seasons or whatever he did. I remember he's not in a lot of it, though.
No, I didn't keep up with Spin City, so I can't say.
I've just always been a Michael J. Fox fan.
Yeah.
I love Back to the Future. It's like one of my favorite franchises of all time. We'll probably end up doing it at some point.
I hope not.
What? Don't make me start with the third one, bro.
Start with the third
I'll start with the Wild West and bring it back.
And work your way back.
And work my way back.
And go back to the future.
We will go back to the future. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a double meaning in there.
Yeah, I just I couldn't get over Charlie Sheen. I didn't like him in this movie, and he really dragged it. Like Chris Tucker, like you said, Chris Tucker's carrying it on his back, especially during these wedding.
I'm not going to let you just brush that off and keep moving. Why don't you like Back to the Future, bro?
I think it's fine.
8.21 gigawatts. Like, how do you not like the Great Scott, Marty?
I don't like it as much as everyone else. Like, it's a fine film. It's put it on. It's entertaining, but it's not one of my favorite films of all time.
I will say this, though. Since Rick and Morty has come out, it has kind of watered it down for me a tad bit. And I hate that because I love Rick and Morty, but I love Back to the Future. So it's
if it's on, I'm not going to be mad that it's on, but I'm not going to.
Damn right you will be mad. We'll watch that bitch. I don't care where it's at in the movie. We're watching it. We're finishing it off. And then we might go get 2 out and put it in. Anyways, I couldn't just let you go on that.
Yeah.
Our fans needed to know that. Anyways, so they leave the party. He's like, fuck this shit. My girl needs me and shit. I love how when he's in the office, he takes everything. Like, he's even going to steal the picture of Heather Locklear. It's fucking great. And so he goes outside. He's like, I want to use you for sweeps week, man. Come on, I need you. Like, I promise I'll help you get out of, And he's like, fuck that and fuck you. I'm out of here. Get me a fucking cab. And then 2 squad cars go by, and he's like, so tell me about the sweeps week shit again. After that, they go see his girl, and the cops are two guys that like play cops and everything. I feel like, or the old man, he's from the Breakfast Club. Forget his name, but he's the main cop.
Oh, right. I just watched that movie. I kept thinking there was this one guy in Angel Heart that was just very large. And when you keep saying cops, I keep thinking back to him, but that was a different movie. So yeah, you're right.
So they go back and he has a good little moment with the fiance, and I also like when they're on the phone and she's like, "You been over at some girl's house?" He's like, "I ain't fucking nobody but you." Or he's like, "I've been getting shot at running around this whole city. I got no time to get no pussy." She's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "I ain't fucking nobody but you."
Yeah.
And it is another good part because he cuts all the bravado and all the bullshit, and he's just like honest with her for a second. Like, "Come on, baby, you know I wouldn't do anything like that. I can't kill nobody." You know, like, I like that part. Like, it showed his character some depth other than just the jokes.
Right. It's in there a little bit. But Kendra does that shit to me every once in a while. Like, I'll come home 10 minutes late from when I usually come home. Where the fuck have you been?
She's at some whores?
Yeah.
You went through some whores?
I'm not gonna get pussy in 10 minutes. She's like, "Yeah, you can." Okay.
She's like, "Motherfucker, I fucked you. I know how long it is." You probably had time to fuck her twice before you came home. That's funny. So yeah, and he's like, "How's the baby?" You know, and this and that. And she's like, "Some guy named Carmine says he's gonna kill us." And he's like, "I don't know, the motherfucker $25,000. I owe him $7,000. You owe some bullshit." But clearly, he doesn't know how VIG works or the mob. But you know what's crazy is the guy that plays the mob boss. He's actually Spanish. He's the guy from Blood In, Blood Out.
I've never seen that.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
Yeah,
you should watch that one.
I was gonna say he doesn't look Italian. He definitely looks like a cartel boss.
Right. Well, I mean,
yeah.
I think he's been in like mob shit too.
Right.
But so, anyways, yeah, he plays the Duke Carmine, and they get away from the cops. They got to run and shit. And after that, that's when they go to try to track these guys down. He's like, "Look, the guy that broke us out had the stamp from this club where all these European motherfuckers hang out." He's like, "This is where we."
Oh, the camel, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "This is our lead," and he's like, they go to knock on the door. He's like, "I don't think they're gonna let us in." And he's like, "Calm down." He's like, "I'm kind of a celebrity," and he pulls out. He's like, "Hi, I'm James from 2012 News." He's like, "You're the news reporter," and he's like, "Yes, I am." "Get the fuck out of here!" He slams the fucking door in his face. And Chris Tucker just fucking lets it on his ass. It's great. Well, he sure knew who you were. So then he calls it a bomb threat, and when the people run out, then she got a fat ass. It's great. And they go to they can hide out in a convenience store. It's all shot to shit. I just kept wondering why they kept getting the actors wet this time around.
I didn't think about it, but you're right. Yeah.
He dumps him in the river. Then he dumps old boy in the river, and then they shoot up the fire extinguisher or the fire hydrant, and then the bad guys are wet. They're wet, and just like through the whole fucking movie, it's like, why would you just keep dunking these guys in water? And he shoots the poor guy that owns the store because for some reason he lives above this fucking place, but yeah, shoots the cameras, which they don't catch that shit, but like they think that him and the reporter who has no record, they think he killed the fucking store owner.
Yeah, right.
But then you find out at the end, I thought that was just bad writing, but then you find out at the end that the fucking cop, the one that's like he's like, "I'm trying to help you, Franklin." Like, he's fucking dirty. Like, he's like, "I'm keeping the diamonds." Fuck these people.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
Yeah, they had to, and the guy that was the dickhead cop at first is actually the good cop, and then he gets fucking capped. He's like, "You just killed my partner with your own gun." But anyways, I'm jumping ahead. But so they get away from them, and he's like, "Man, we need some guns, man." He's like, "Look, Only one. He's like only two white. He's like only two white people ever walked into this fucking place. He goes, you keep your mouth shut, you'll be the first one to walk out.
See, this is one of the one times I remember this movie. This like gun scene when they go in and get the guns.
It's almost the best scene of the movie. I feel like
because I love this character. He does such a good job.
That guy is just a cold ass actor in general.
Yeah,
he's been in like a ton of movies, but yeah, Ricky has got some great lines in this shit. So he bangs on the door, and the big fucking bodyguard is standing there, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm here to see Aaron. Aaron, yeah, that's right." He goes, "I'm here to see Aaron." He's like, "Aaron don't know you." He's like, "Yeah, I do. I was there when he shot Big Luther in MacArthur Park." He's like, "Where he shoot him? In MacArthur Park, you dumb fuck." "Where did he shoot him at?" "An ass, man. Everybody knows that. Let me in." He lets him in. He jumps at him. He's like, "What I tell you, man? Stop playing, man. You know who I am. Let me in." "Where Aaron at?" And they go to the back, and old boy's like pretty much like a kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
But they like grew up together, so it's a great dynamic because like this dude's a fucking stone cold gangster, and of course Chris Tucker just fucking makes it hilarious. So he comes in and they talk, and he's like Franklin Hatchet, what are you doing here? And he's like, "Hey man, I need to borrow some guns on credit." And he's like, "You know what happened last time?" He's like, "That wasn't my fault last time. Remember, that was Lil Johnny and them that fucked the money up." He goes, "Well, you know Lil Johnny's now invisible, Johnny." He's like, "Yeah, man, I know it's fucked up what you did. I went to the funeral. That shit was closed casket and everything." Still hilarious, bro. I fucking started dying crying, man. Like, I was just laughing so hard. It was one of those times where my daughter looked over and was like, "Daddy."
Not that funny.
Yeah, I mean, like you just ain't paying attention. You don't know. Like explaining myself to my daughter, but by this point she had put headphones on because she was tired of hearing me fucking like, cackling like a hyena at this shit.
Right.
Because I still had so much fun with it, even with all of its flaws. Like I still had a lot of fun watching this movie.
I get that. There's some movies from this era that I still go back to and I watch and I'm like, God, it's so much fun. Just that nostalgia trip. Like I said, nostalgia is real.
Right. So he takes him in. He's like, "Who the fuck is this?" And he's like, "That's a little news reporter friend of mine. Don't even worry about it. He's helping me clear my name." He's like, "You bring a fucking gun. You bring a fucking reporter. You doing something about my lifestyle?" Pulls out this big ass gun. Aaron. He's like, "How long we known each other?" "Since grade school, man. Pity pat.
Peekaboo.
Red light, green light."
That was pretty funny.
"Pity pat." All right. And then they go in there and he's like, "So you say you got problems, huh? You got little bitty problems." And he puts a little pea shooter in his pocket. "You got big ass fucking problems." Like it's really cool because this dude's got a fucking armory in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Aaron, I ain't trying to disrespect shit, but this shit too heavy, man. We're gonna be doing a lot of running. I just need like 1 or 2 of these, 3 or 4 of these." He keeps grabbing guns off while he's talking. And he's like,
but just the disappointment in his face that he's grabbing little guns instead of this fucking artillery.
And then he starts like explaining like how fucking badass the gun is, and it's got a laser scope on it. And then fucking, this is one of the better Charlie Sheen lines. He's He's like, "It's German made as compared to Chinese. It's got a bearing sight. It helps." He's like, "You sure you ain't a fucking cop?" And he puts the beam right here on his head. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sure I'm not a fucking cop. I did a report on street weapons." Anyways, and then they go, he's like, "Aaron, man, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. I'm gonna get you this money as soon as I can." He's like, "Hey, Franklin, man, if you need me, give me a call."
Yeah, because when they show back up in the movie, that's another part that I remembered again.
Yeah.
When they were sitting in the bleachers.
It's fucking great, too.
I was like, I remember this.
Hold this. That was kind of nasty, though.
Yeah.
We're good friends, but I'm not gonna hold that for you like that. Maybe like, napkin or something. Anyways, so they leave there, and then where did they go?
Doesn't he go back to the father so he can take him to the...
so he can get the diamonds.
Yeah.
And he's got to tell, I mean, that's what it is. Charlie Sheen wants to tell his fiance that he's not really, he didn't kill anybody, obviously, or whatever, and not to worry and shit. But Paul Servito I guess they don't watch the fucking news at all
in
their house. And there's a newspaper sitting on the fucking table.
It's his picture on it.
Yeah, and it's gigantic. And like he doesn't even look at it. And he's like, "What's in the paper?" Huh? Nothing. Flips over, Auto Expo, convenient writing. Anyways.
I love that he was going to make him this like fancy Italian breakfast.
Dude, I feel really guilty that I didn't get this out earlier when they were at the engagement party. I have always, it's been a little dream of mine to fucking act like I'm going to give a serious, heartfelt speech and just quote lyrics from a song. And like see if anybody calls me out on that shit because it's hilarious. He goes through Barry White's fucking My First, My Last, My Everything. Great bring back to the opening scene.
Yeah.
Which is also my favorite Barry White song too. That's probably why I like it so much. But he's like, you're his moon, you're his stars. You're some kind of wonderful, that's what you are. And the mom of all people, she's like, is that Barry White? So he's talking to the dad and the mom, and she of course doesn't fuck with him because she knows something ain't right about this fucking guy. And he's like, and how's the mistress of the house this morning? She's like, I've never been anybody's mistress. I've only been with my husband. His first, his last, his everything. And then like Paul Sorvino's like, come on, man, chill out. And she like leaves. And he's like, excuse me. He's like, you pissed her off. Like, but I thought that Paul Sorvino was like the coolest fucking dad ever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Rich as shit.
I love this. I love him in this movie. Like it's such a small part, but he does so much with it.
When he says that, he's like, you want to eat breakfast? He's like, I'm fucking starving. He's like, I love some breakfast. the lady, you think she's just a maid, and she comes out, and he's like, oh, you're Italian. What am I saying? He's like, I want you to make up the mozzarella, and it's, makes it all like that. He's like, hell yeah. He's like, throw some of them Italian grits on there too. He's like, thanks, Ma. He's like, that's your mama? He's like, well, that's how you do it. Keep the rich and keep it in the family. That is fucked up. You would have your mother wait on, bro. That dude clearly didn't need it. Like, could afford
an actual
help.
Maid.
Yeah.
But nobody kicks like mom, though.
Dude, like, okay, so you like let her cook for you. She had the maid outfit on. Did you see those glasses? How did she see anything? That woman was legally blind.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible. Because with the first scene, what really made me think about, like, what a fucking dick, dude, is like, there's 3 Rolls Royces parked next to each other.
And you just got mom cooking.
And you got your fucking mother waiting on you, bro.
That's all of like 90 years
exactly.
old.
She looked like she was Italy, the country. Like, she's just that old. Like, stone and shit.
Right.
So he talks him into taking him to the car show.
Well, he shows him the watches, and he's like, it's not good enough.
Fucking Rolexes, badass.
He's like, that's not good enough.
He's like, man, this is a house and a house, man. He's like, who lives in this bed? He's like, just me and the wife. He's like, damn. He's like, let me $1 million. He's like, starts laughing. He's like, I'm just playing. Unless you go give it to me. But so he talks him into going to the show, and then of course Charlie Sheen catches him just in time to hear him say, we're gonna go to the expo. It's gonna be the expo. It's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another great scene when they get there because, of course, he's looking for this Jaguar because he knows that's where the diamonds are. And then, of course, the guys that stole the diamonds, who stashed them in the Jaguar, are there to buy the car, too. So he makes it seem like these dudes are fucking with the dad, but it's really, of course, them because they are like, how the fuck is this guy alive? You know? So he does this shit right here, like,
Yeah,
like they're flicking each other off back and forth.
It's very childish.
He's gonna kill him. She's like, oh, 120,000 to the man killing all the competition. Like, she was funny too. She's been in stuff too, but I just remember laughing at that. And he's like, fuck me, fuck you. And she's like, stiffen his arm to the competition or some shit like that. And she's just trying to keep that shit bent. She's good at what her job is, man, because she jacked the car up, or the price on that car, a lot. Dude.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, like a 1951 Jaguar, and they gave some fuck up crazy backstory about it. Even then, for that car selling at 150,000 was a great fucking deal.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's pretty cheap.
I feel like that car would be worth like $500,000 now.
But that's one of those like private auctions that you can only get to
if you're like rich as fuck.
Yeah, you have to be a somebody to be in there.
That was another thing. Like, he acted like it was fucking killing him, but like that fucking Mercedes that James Bond drove went for $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's like, 150,000. Fuck, I drove here in a Rolls Royce. God damn. Like, dude, you're out like this 150K is gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Those Rolexes probably cost as much as that fucking.
I was gonna say, yeah,
that car. Anyways, plot device. He leaves like, hey, I gotta use the bathroom. He's like, you're gonna leave in the middle of this? So he goes out there and he calls the cops, and that's when Charlie Sheen catches up to him. And this is Charlie Sheen's greatest line in this fucking movie. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing, Franklin? You're wanted for murder. And now thanks to you, I'm wanted for fucking murder. And he's like, man, cool out, man. Me and Pops are just chilling, looking at cars and shit, just hanging out. Like, he's like, oh yeah? Well, I got J-Dog on a fly trap, flossing with the posse. What the fuck does that mean? And he's like, look, man, I don't want to fuck you up, but I'll fuck you up. And then he fights him and he beats his ass. It's like Charlie Sheen is not seeing any of these punches coming.
And then he goes for a punch for himself. He
breaks his fucking
breaks his hand.
And he goes to hit him again. And he's just like, yeah, you've been through enough. So, of course, he comes out just in time to catch, he's like, these bastards won't budge. And he looks at him, fuck him. Yeah? Yeah. Fuck him. $150,000, And these jewel thieves who have millions of dollars to steal in diamonds or whatever, I guess that was their budget.
Yeah. They got a car budget.
Can't go over 140, bro. Or we're not making anything on this job.
I didn't understand why they had to have the car. They could have just did what Chris Tucker did. Just go into the showroom and...
Well, see, I thought about that, but the only thing I could make it sense is they only let people that bought the car back there.
Well, Chris Tucker found his way back there somehow. Oh, because he bought the car, duh.
Right. Well, he was with the motherfucker that bought the car. You know what I mean? I'm sure he bullshitted everybody like he does.
Yeah.
It was good, though. They didn't take the time to explain it, even though that it probably would have helped a little bit. But yeah, so he's following around. And then, of course, this dude he's like, we got to go. The cops are coming. And then this is 10 minutes after that. And then he just starts opening fire in the fucking place. So you get a really cool car scene, which is, it's funny because, of course, Chris Tucker screaming and shit throughout the whole thing. And then somehow turns into a performance driver through it. But like I said, it's still great, still flawed, but still funny as shit. And then when the dude gets in a 20-car pileup, Chris Tucker, hey, Frenchie! The great laugh, and flicks him off or rides off. It's good shit.
Finally digs through it and finds the diamonds. Millions of dollars of diamonds.
And then, of course, conveniently, the dude goes back inside, kidnaps Charlie Sheen. So, Chris Tucker gets these diamonds and goes to grab his old lady. He's like, look, man, fuck all this. He's like, $15 million, we can go anywhere we want. She's like, I'm not going to have my child raised as a fucking fugitive. And she's like, this is wrong. And he's like, this is right. This can't get no righter. Because, that's how we all would be, man.
I was going to say, would you? Yeah, you would.
$15 million? Fuck that shit. I barely know this fucking guy. And he got me into all this shit.
No.
Yeah, you're dying, bro. Sorry. Don't care.
Yeah, they didn't do a good job of building up the
now, if they would have took his lady instead of Charlie Sheen, then I think it would have been better because then it gives them a reason to bond or whatever. You know how you do it? You take Heather Locklear and you take her.
Yep.
Because now they're stuck together. I fucking hate you, but let's go save our ladies.
Right.
Then it would have been different. But
him going back for Charlie Sheen
just didn't feel authentic. Because up to this point, you're like, bro, these guys fucking hate each other. He would have definitely left this guy to fucking die. But I think it's also a chance to show that Chris Tucker is a good person too.
He's not completely
he's a hustler,
shitty
but he's
person.
not. Yeah, I went back for him even though I could have said fuck him. And he calls the mob guys. He calls the old dude that he gets tickets from at the beginning of the movie, which was
right.
smart. That old man helped him out a lot. I don't know what he had on him because he's talking shit to him, gets him up in the middle of the night, all that.
I was gonna say that guy pops up in the most random movies. Yeah. He's always some weird ass side character. Never plays the main character.
He's got a nice voice though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But so he goes up to the booth and sets it up, and then he calls the mob guys. He's like, look, I'm gonna pay you off tonight, which was genius too because he got all of his people that hated him together at once.
Yeah,
and then somehow convinced them to kill each other, which is even better.
That's what you do. Yeah.
So they tackle him and they're beating the shit out of him, and he's like, He's like, I heard you just promised those diamonds to somebody else. He goes, man, fuck that guy, man. He's like, these are for us. This is for us. I'm gonna pay you off, man. He's like, you think $15 million in diamonds? You think that shit's easy? He goes, you want them or not?
Yeah.
He's like,
oh yeah. He's like
10 million. You just. He's like, well, I thought it was 15 million. He's like, I'm getting something. I ain't doing this shit for nothing. Even being threatened to be killed, he still did it.
Still hustling.
Still great. He's like, you pay your boys to do their fucking thing, and he's like, we'll walk away from this shit. Well, of course, as they walking away, he's like, man, the second we get them diamonds, shoot that motherfucker in the head. So the French guys pulling in on a helicopter. They got unlimited helicopters.
Yeah. It
is. Like, they just had a helicopter pad on point. Really cool for shooting in California. You got to see the Coliseum, which is awesome, for any sports fans out there. And so the mob guys start shooting it out with the French guys, and it's pretty much working in his favor.
Yeah, everyone's killing each other.
He keeps
like planned.
Popping up on the Jumbotron and pissing them off, like, hey, Frenchie!
And Charlie Sheen is steadily putting these grenades in the bottom foot of the fucking helicopter.
That was the best thing he did in this whole fucking movie. That was the smartest decision he ever fucking made. He's like, you let my friend go, and I'll give you your diamonds. And so they find out that the guy, obviously somebody's helping him from the booth, so they sends the right hand man up there to kill Otto.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you get the great Aaron cameo again. He pops back in, and he's got a fucking rocket launcher.
Yeah,
it hits this dude from section 300, just fucking. And then the bodyguard's got a fucking big old assault rifle, and he's picking motherfuckers off too.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And it lets you show that that's their boy, he was his friend, even though he was cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, that's one of the parts I remembered from a kid because it's so comical.
Yeah,
to have because they're in open, you could just look over and see them.
Yeah, they weren't doing anything. They were just sitting there like they were there for the game.
Right, right.
That's what made it so great. It's so calm and collected.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do me a favor, hold this. Takes the lollipop out, gives it to him. And then when he hits it with the rocket launcher, the bodyguard's laugh is so, kind of scary, but, great at the same time. And so that's when that's a good kill, too, to get the right hand guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's he's shooting shit with the Uzi and stuff. And blows his ass up. And that's when the crooked cop shows up, shoots him and shit. He's like, I didn't kill those people. He's like, I'm going to prove it and this and that. He's like, you killed my partner. He's like, and I'm going to take those diamonds. I'm like, of course you are. Well, then that guy gets knocked down the fucking stairs. Or shot, right? I think he gets shot.
He gets knocked out. Because he wakes up all bloodied.
Yeah. I thought he got killed.
Eventually.
Right.
But when he got knocked down the stairs, just knocked out.
That's right. They had the big chase scene. Well, they get to the point where they're he somehow gets Charlie Sheen, and they get to the entrance of the stadium, and that's when these guys are just showing up to blow him away. Right. And they're standing behind the statue, and he's like, you got your diamonds. And he fucking chunks them, man. $15 million in diamonds, and all these dudes just say, fuck the shooting, we're getting the money. They just start grabbing their shits. And the French dude's like, fuck, man, we gotta go. Because, of course, at this time, the cops are coming and shit.
Finally show up.
Right. And he's like, damn, he's gonna get away, man. And then that's when Charlie Sheen's like, nah. And then blows up the Frenchman.
I was thinking, why is he still holding on to the pins? Just to show them later?
Yeah.
Are they just souvenirs?
It's cool.
I'm
sorry, have you blew up a helicopter with grenades? Well, you don't know how you would feel, would you?
It's just when he showed him, I was like, why do you still have those?
They were trying to pull a professional. That's what it was.
Yeah. I see.
What's that? Such a good fucking movie.
I know.
So yeah, and then cuts to a month or two later, and Charlie Sheen's getting married, and Chris Tucker's his best man at the wedding.
Of course.
And he gives him a ring, and he's like, "This isn't the ring." And he's like, "It's a gift." How many of those diamonds did you keep? And And he's like, enough. Now get married, man. And when he turns to the side, he's got these Allen Iverson like carrot fucking earrings. It's hilarious. And he's like, fuck it. And then of course she's like, holy shit, look at the size of that thing.
It's bigger than her hand almost.
So they get married, and we get one more great iconic laugh as Barry White plays into the credits, man. Fucking fantastic movie, man. I'm laughing just thinking about watching it, and I just saw it last night.
Right. It is quintessential 90s cheese, and it's...
If I'm being 100% movie reviewer honest with myself, like I just said, this movie has flaws. If I had to give it out of the par scale on like just as an objective, not a fan of, like a lover of this movie, probably gets like a 5.
Yeah.
But on the par scale of like as a fucking Chris Tucker stan,
yeah,
it gets a 9 all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like as a movie recommendation, it's hard to recommend. Like unless you're just in a 90s cheese mood.
If you just want to laugh and have fun, like it's not a movie obviously to be taken serious.
But if you want another Chris Tucker movie, like he brings it 110%.
Yeah, if you love his style of comedy and when he was killed, like when he was on his heyday, this is by far one of his best ones. I feel like
I think so too. It's like he was more talented than this movie. Could offer. Yeah.
And that's what's crazy because like I don't know who the guy was that quit or whatever, but I mean I'm assuming he didn't have a lot of pull or like wasn't a big name or whatever, because I feel like with him at that point, like if he would have had a more structured director, like somebody was like, look, bro, I know you're great, but like let me find a way for you to show it. Like you don't have to take over every scene. Like we'll find a way to make it good.
Right.
We'll get you help. You don't have to do everything. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that was the thing. Like, is he was like, look, it's got to be me because I'm the only motherfucker here that's doing anything worth the fuck. And I don't think old boy can handle it. You know?
Yeah. That is the problem. Is you have like an actor that's well established and you're an up and coming director. How do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird because I just talked about it before the podcast, but I just watched that movie or the series, The Offer, about making The Godfather, and I had no idea that the guy that produced that movie, it was the first job in any movie he had ever had.
Really?
He went to a movie with his girlfriend, and he was like, "This is what I want to do with my life." He's like, because he was looking around the movie theater and people were just like, you know how people get, like, they're enthralled, you know?
Yeah.
And of course it takes place in the late 60s, early 70s. So that was like when movies were looked at as like an experience, you know? It's not like it is now where like everybody goes to the movies. Like it was like you had to save up to do that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
You did it like once every couple of months, not once a week.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that's the era that this was made. And it's showing Francis Ford Coppola. He hadn't directed shit. He directed one movie, I think, before Godfather, or maybe he wasn't.
Dementia 13.
Either that or like he had just wrote a movie that did really well, and they were like, "Look, he'll do it, but he wants to direct." And they're like, "Oh shit," you know, because like nobody was rooting for him. So like he had fucking Marlon Brando, who was the diva of fucking divas back then. You know what I mean? He had James Caan, who he didn't want because he's like, he's not even fucking Italian. Like, which by the way, James Caan, rest in peace, fucking kills The Godfather. I love Sonny. Sonny is my favorite fucking Corleone. Yes, I said that.
But it's also a movie that they didn't think would be that big, probably.
Well, that's the thing. It was like, and the mob was threatening to shut it down because they thought it was littered with mafia this, mafia that. And the funny thing is he told the mob guys, like, hey, if you let me make this movie, I promise you we'll never say the word mafia once. And he's like, you do that for us? And he's like, for you guys? Absolutely. And he goes to fucking to Coppola and Mario Puzo because they wrote the screenplay together. This is why I think the movie is so fucking fantastic, because the dude literally broke his book down into a movie and then had the fucking director do it, who was also a fantastic writer. And they made it together. That's they got their Oscars. They both got Oscars for adapting the screenplay. It was really good show. It's very informational. But anyways, it was like that. And like, they were like, how the fuck are you going to get all these guys? He's like, nobody knows who you are, bro.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to have actors that believe in the vision, in what you want the movie to be about. This guy probably shows up first day. Chris Tucker is riding high in life at the moment. Charlie Sheen is literally just there for the check. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got one guy that's killing it, knocking it out of the park, but he's doing it so much that it's making the other guy look like complete shit. Like, I can't put this guy in the movie with you because you're fucking ruining it, everything he's doing. And Chris Tucker's like, man, fuck you, bro. This movie sucks without me. And he's right, you know?
Yep.
And maybe that's why he was like, you know what, bro? You're the star.
Yeah.
You got this. And just walk the fuck out. Probably a lot of what happened.
Probably. It sounds like it. I was looking at the budget. It was $25 million, I want to say.
There's a lot of explosions and shit. Like, a lot of car crash. Yeah, you know what I
You
mean?
always say that. Yeah, $25 million was the budget. And it grossed worldwide $48 million, so.
That's surprising. But I remember it was like a big movie when it came, you know?
Like I said, I remember seeing it when I was a kid, but I just don't remember the details.
And I'm telling you, fucking 97 was the year of Tucker, bro. Because he had all his hits. Well, except for Friday. Friday came out in 95, but yeah, I couldn't believe that. I was like, how the fuck did The Fifth Element, this, and fucking Jackie Brown all done in a year, dude?
Well, we can close the book on Chris Tucker for now.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much more to do.
We're not going to do Rush Hour.
Don't threaten me with a good time. I'll do all three of them sub bitches back to back to back. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I do love Jackie Chan. I probably will do a Jackie Chan movie at some point.
Would you do like his older films or his like Americanized films?
I would do my favorite one of all time. It's just Legend of the Drunken Master.
I was going to say that's my favorite.
I love that fucking the remake, not the original.
Oh, I like the original.
I like the original, but I just they changed so much of it, dude. Like it just doesn't feel like the same movie to me. But yeah, I love the one where he's dubbed over himself. Like, those are my favorites when they went back and dubbed him in English with his voice.
Yeah.
Fucking Rumble in the Bronx is the worst cheese ever, and it is one of my favorite movies.
I'm always
he
down.
kicks so much fucking ass, bro.
I'm always down for some Jackie Chan.
He fought the entire borough of Brooklyn in that movie.
Yeah.
Fucking up, people. And he broke his foot in that jet ski seat, in that water skiing
He's
scene.
always hurting himself. That's not like every movie he hurts himself at least once.
They said he's broken every bone in his body at least once.
Yeah.
That is fucking insane, dude. He's a tough motherfucker.
He is.
Shout out to Jackie Chan, man.
Yeah.
Fucking true goat. You know what's cool? I just read about this too, is because they were talking about Chris Tucker. You know, Jackie Chan just got an Oscar, like an honorary Oscar.
For what?
For a great, like the overall spanning career. He's been in movies for 40 years.
That's true.
And it was like a Lifetime Achievement Award or whatever, but it's still an Oscar.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, his type of movies don't get that kind of look. But I thought that was cool of them to do that because Jackie is a goat.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Not just Rush Hours and stuff, but like he's a true like badass.
You say Jackie Chan, everyone has a favorite movie of his.
Right.
Like, it may be Shanghai Noon, it may be Drunken Master, it may be Rush Hour, but he has so much out there.
In my mind, there's only two people that have taken kung fu movies to even close to like where he's at. Obviously, Bruce Lee was the forefather.
Jet Li.
Yeah, Jet Li is the only other guy I can think of that's like right there with him as far as like.
Yeah, there's a couple of under.
Tony Jaw's badass.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
the guys that did Raid Redemption, they're fucking cool. Like, I mean, they're all badasses too. Ong Bak, that guy, is that Tony Jaa?
Ong Bak, yes.
Yeah, it's Tony Jaa. I'm thinking of the other one, Raid Redemption, whoever that guy is. But like, yeah, there's a lot of like great kung fu or martial arts.
But they didn't reach that level of success of them. So I see what you're saying.
And just the longevity.
Well, Jet Li fell off, but I think he
retired.
Yeah, he was making some.
But the last movie he made, Hero, is beautiful. It's like one of the best movies he ever did. And it's based on a true story, and he fucking killed it, dude. I might have to get you that one to watch, bro. I know
because I was gonna say I don't think I've seen it.
It's awesome, bro. It's really cool. And like I said, he played a guy that was an actual martial arts master, and I think it's the style that he still studies to this day. I'm pretty sure. I mean, don't quote me on that, but like, it's a really good movie. I'll get it for you. But yeah, we kind of went off on a Jackie Chan tram, but so We gave our ratings and shit, but like I said, I had a lot of fun with this one.
It was fun. I didn't hate watching it. It's just that 90s cheese.
I had been working all weekend, and it gave me the much needed laugh I needed. So, like I said, I had fun with it. But I did realize it because, like I said, man, now that we do this, we've been doing this for a while. Like, I don't watch movies the same way I used to. So
you judge them a lot harder.
Yeah, not even harder. It's just like some of the little shit that I used to just not even pay attention to. I would just let go. Like I don't do it anymore. Now I notice it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I said, it's not ruined it for me. It's just a different way. Still loved it. You know what I mean? Just. It's a different love now.
Like you said, it's a turn your brain off and just have fun with it. Like, it's not a good movie, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know me. So,
but I figured I'm gonna stick on the lesser known movies by popular directors, and we're gonna finally get to this one.
What you got for me, Greggles?
We are going to be doing Inherent Vice.
Hell yeah! You don't even need to give me this one. I own this.
I just wanted to grab it just because
it's awesome. Cover.
Oh, I know. I love the that's half the reason the wife bought it for me, I think, because I'm a sucker for these kind of covers.
I bought that movie at the Dollar Tree, bro.
Did you really?
Before they became the $1.25 tree.
See, and that's what breaks my heart, because Paul Thomas Anderson has done some great films. Punch Drunk Love, Magnolia. Like, he has a lot of great movies, but this one in particular, people don't really talk about much.
I don't say this a lot, but I hate that Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, I know. You've told me.
I think the only one I hate more than Punch Drunk Love is fucking Jack and Jill in Spanglish. And Bedtime Stories.
I loved Punch Drunk Love. It was a great movie.
It sucks because Philip Seymour Hoffman killed it.
He did, yeah. It's such a small part, but
it's like we were talking about. Like, that's what separates the great actors from the fucking goats.
Mm-hmm.
Like DiCaprio, Django Unchained, he's not in it, but 20 minutes, he fucking steals the movie almost. Yeah, when like Pesci and fucking Goodfellas. Their part isn't the biggest, but they fucking bring so much swagger into it that it's like you can't take your eyes off of them, man.
Right.
And I feel like that's what he does for that.
Agreed. But this one, Joaquin Phoenix, main star, so
he kills it and everything. So I am actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a noir film, just a detective story.
I kept thinking that this was the one that was like about him being like a fucking cult leader, but I think that's called it's called The Master, I think. So I don't think it's the same one, but
no, this one he just plays a detective, I think, or retired.
This one I was always interested in seeing it, and I also wanted to see the You're Not Even Here, or
I want to see that. I want to see that too.
Supposedly he just goes around beating people to death with a hammer.
Oh, yeah?
I want to see that.
Is that the one he went super method for? People thought there was something wrong with him, but he was just dressed up for a movie. It was actually promotional.
I think it's like You Were Never Really Here, or You're Not Even Here, something like that.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, it didn't do very well, but that was the last movie he did before he got Joker. Mm-hmm. So everybody was like, I don't know, man, Joaquin is kind of fucking, not doing well lately. I mean, he's doing it, but like these movies he's making are shit. Like,
yeah. Well, it's kind of like the whole Nicolas Cage thing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Joaquin is always like, he's like, Nick Cage obviously makes these movies because he loves just being in movies. You know what I mean? And obviously he clearly needs money.
Yeah.
But Joaquin just seems like the kind of guy, like, he could have 20 million in the bank. He's still going to live like a fucking, a regular ass like person.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get a house in a neighborhood that nobody's going to bother him, and he would just live there for 20 years. Like, that's how I see him being. And he's got money. He doesn't need the money, but he would only do something if he wants to.
Can I just say, I love Walk Hard. And I think Johnny Cash movie.
Not Walk Hard.
What is it?
It's Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire. Walk Hard is the comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I meant Ring of Fire.
Yeah. Wait. Sure? I know Walk Hard is the fucking Dewey Cox movie. Okay. I know for sure. But Walk the Line.
Walk the Line. There you go.
There it is. I don't know why. Ring of Fire is a great song, though.
Yeah. But he kills
that movie.
So much justice for
Johnny Cash.
I don't usually like those kind of biopics.
Yeah.
But I love that movie.
I feel like this new Elvis one, I feel like that's what they were trying so hard.
I heard it's good.
To do.
I heard it's good. I heard he kills it, and it actually touches on the one thing that I had a problem with is how he took music from black culture. So I appreciate the film for doing it, but I still fucking hate Elvis. Like, even if you bring all his like issues.
I thought the kid they got to play him looked a lot like him when he was younger.
Well, yeah, that's what they're saying is he like nailed it.
Yeah. I wonder if he does any of the singing.
I think so.
Joaquin did the singing.
I think he does, actually.
That's another reason why Joaquin gets a check for that one.
And the gyrates.
I mean, he looks the book. Like I said, I saw the trailer and I was like, I'm like you. I don't really care. I'm not quite a big Elvis hater, but I don't really like him either.
Yeah.
I think the legend and conspiracy theories around him are cooler than him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I just can't stand him.
And he always had like the baddest ass nickname, the King of Rock and Roll. Like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, and then Michael Jackson became the King of Pop. You know what I mean? I want to be the king of something.
You will be the king of par.
The King of Part. Oh, that's good.
Did you see the trailer for John Wick 4?
What, with him just playing with a puppy?
It's gonna get killed.
Somebody just buy this guy another fucking dog.
Supposedly this is gonna be the last one, but we'll see.
Man, that mission's gonna make $300 million, and there's gonna be John Wick 5. We're gonna be here 2 years from now talking about. Can you believe they're doing John Wick 5?
Yeah, you're not wrong, but I'm excited.
I don't know, man. I thought Bill and 4 was a bad idea, but like, he's doing Matrix 7 next. Like, this guy's like, he's really killing these franchises.
Yeah. He establishes these IPs and then just drains them.
Did you watch the new Matrix?
Yeah, I told you I watched it.
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you to see it so I can talk about it.
Huh. Give you 5 words to describe it.
5 words?
5 words. Nah, 3. 3.
3 words?
You would ruin it in 5. I give you 3. I give you 3.
Oh, fuck. 3.
Is that one of the words, fuck?
No. Am I talking about like my review of the film? Like,
just
if
like
I had
you had to think of 3 words to describe this movie. If you only had 3 words to tell me to describe this movie, what would it be?
Rehashing, boring, and / interesting.
I could take that.
Yeah. Like I'm
gonna see it regardless. We both know this, but
right. But there are some things in there that I actually find interesting. But as a whole, okay. So I asked you before, did you watch Nope yet? Because me and the wife went and watched Nope, and I have mixed feelings about Peele's movies. So he loves to throw a lot of symbolism, a lot of
right.
Talking on current culture and everything like that. And the one thing that I noticed is he's too busy trying to fill these movies with all this symbolism that I think he forgets to make like a good, compelling movie. You know what I mean? Like Us. It's like Us was pretty good. It was half and half for me. But this new one, I was so busy focusing in on what he's trying to say instead of just enjoying the movie.
Right.
So no spoilers or anything like that, but that's the one thing that I'm noticing about him is he's too focused on trying to say something.
Though, right? They're really aliens, though.
It just came out. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll tell you after the podcast.
That's fine.
I just don't want anybody else getting spoiled.
I mean, he ain't paying our bills, bro. Fuck him. Tell people.
You just don't like him. Fuck his movie.
I like the other guy better. Keegan. I'm a Keegan guy.
But I don't have anything else. So.
Yeah, man. So next week we're doing Inherent Vice.
Yep. Until then.
Later, y'all.
Later.